Hey everyone, how's it going? We are at Aquarium Co-Op's Urban Fish Farm.
That's it.
All right. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen this amazing room before, but today I wanted to make a video and show you some fish that maybe you haven't seen before, fish that I haven't seen before. I know that they're fish that Cory has been looking for quite some time and got them. So
super nerd fish.
Yeah, nerdy Livebearer. So we'll go ahead and check out some of his cool fish that he's got. All right, so what are we gonna see first?
And this tote is new to me, well, new in this fish room anyway. I've got Halfbeaks, and there's some in the tote still. I caught a few. They're top dwellers, so they're easier to catch. They're very prone to jumping. They want to eat floating food. They'll eat their own fry. So they're really just a pain to breed, but they look super cool because these are, you know, I guess you can call them platinum. They get this gene, well, it's not even a gene, it's a bacteria as far as I understand it, from like the gold tetra. It's actually a bacteria that makes them that gold color, and they were able to introduce them to the Halfbeaks. So the Halfbeaks are gonna get, you know, 3 inches or so, and they're just a fun live bearer that I've never had a chance to really breed because they need a lot of surface area and a lot of weeds and plants, and you got to get in there and net all the time. And so I finally was able to get some, and you know, part of it, like this guy's got a little bit bent of a beak of the Halfbeak. If you keep them in too small of tanks and they get spooked, they run into the sides a lot. So that's where you really kind of want a bigger tank for them. And these are the first ones I'm able to find. Halfbeaks can be kind of hard to find. I'm actually looking for also a really nice red Celebes Halfbeak. But you know, these guys, they call them the wrestling Halfbeaks, and they're just fun. There's lots of trade names and things like that, and I just haven't really had a chance to farm many fry. You keep them at the store and, hey look, we made a fry, but never like, hey, I'm actively producing, and I want to see how fat and robust I can get them, because a lot of times they're coming in really skinny into a store, and we can lose batches of them even. So I asked Robert to get me in some, and we finally found them, and now they've been here for a couple of weeks, and you can see, you know, in the variants, some are like a really nice light platinum, some are more of a dirty color, and then oddly enough, like if the top down view, that same fish that looked really silver is now more of a bronze. So they've got all these different colors, and I've only ever kept them in an actual aquarium at the shop, and usually because they're top dwellers, you put them in top tanks at the store, so you're actually viewing them from the underneath, and you get this where here in my own fish room, I now can look at them like you would see them in the wild, and I get actual sunlight coming down, and they look different when sunlight hits them. And so I'm just keeping fish differently than I've kept in the past, because I actually do have natural sunlight, and you know, so you can see right here is a great example, super bright white, and then that one's more of that bronze, it's swimming away, but from the side they both look the same. So kind of a cool thing that I hadn't really noticed until I kept them in the pond. But you know, we'll move on to something else, you know, maybe less common. Like that might be the most common one I have.
Now, quick question on these, because
yeah.
I tried these before, but I had another fish that predated them. But I had them in brackish water. You have them in fresh water.
Yeah, there are quite a few kind of brackish water species and things like that. These ones are not brackish. They could go a little bit brackish. Most times with live bears in general, when they can go brackish, hard water is really what they're chasing. It's not so much the salinity as it is all the minerals that comes with that salinity of when saltwater meets fresh water. You got the estuary, and so like in my water here at the new place, we're on a well, and so it's actually quite hard, and there's lots of minerals all around. And so some of these things that I've been putting off, I'm now trying. Like I've got mollies in here, which I don't consider to be rare. I've got some forms that are kind of cool and fun to keep, but they always really fell apart in my much softer water where discus would breed and things like that. But here they're actually pushing forward, and so that's a, you know, well, common live bears, I still enjoy it, and I've got 55 totes of things to fill, so I get to play with it all at the same time. So these are probably my rarest live bearer. In fact, Zenzo asked, like, oh, how long did it take you to find them on a list? I've actually never seen them on a wholesale list ever. I got these on Aquabid, and I was only able to get 5 fish, and I've made 1 baby to date. They're actually, they don't produce a whole lot. Other people that have them, they're kind of having the same issues, but it's their blue eye, Propilla intermedia is what they call them, but the blue eye, they call them the blue eye live bearer, and it's a blue like nothing else. Hopefully the camera catches it, I can't guarantee that, but it is this like more blue than my blue eye. It's a reflective blue eye. The body itself, nothing too spectacular, but I've got 2 females and a small fry in here, and there's a couple more fry, But you know, I started with 5, and after a move and all that, I think I'm still at about 5. And I really like, okay, I gotta catch that fry, and it took me forever to get anything going out of them because I got them really small. And so this is one that I'm hoping I can breed a lot more of, because while basic fish, people always, if it's in a tank, they fall in love with the blue eye. The pond's not the right scenario, but with an auto feeder and plants, I'm hoping to actually be able to make more. They're really skittish and they'll jump a lot. So one of these females ends up over here quite often. I move her back. But, you know, I'm hoping that I still have a male. If not, I'll track some more down on Aquabit. I've been watching for them, and so you should too, and make sure I don't get more, because, you know, otherwise I'll take over the market. I'll make 5 of them and I'll be the king. But I really like these guys because I didn't know they existed. And when you have been a library nerd for like 15 years straight, to find a library you didn't know was there is pretty special to me, because I've kept a lot of this stuff before. This is actually the first time I've ever been keeping it here at the old fish room, and then now this new one. So it's worth it to me to keep it going, and hopefully find some more people that will enjoy it like I do. So back in they go before they jump. So next up we have the black-chinned livebearer, or the Metallicus livebearer. Now I should sell my own product while I have it. This catch cup is actually the Aquarium Co-Op brand, and we actually made them to be much clearer than your average one. So partially because we film through them all the time, and then also we were just able to make them be clearer and drop the price a bit, and they're indestructible. I can't obviously drop this one and, like, you know, hit it with a sledgehammer because there's fish in it, but they're really ridiculously tough. It's that kind of malleable plastic. But these guys, what's cool about them, they come in a yellow belly form, the black belly form. There's kind of just like a normal silverish one. The one, in my opinion, to look out for is the black chinned one. And if you work with them, and now this one, like, I've made a few fry, but I've only had them for probably 3 months, and I've been moving and that kind of stuff. But as you work with them, you can get more and more of that black throughout the chest. And when you, like, I got a strain from Gary Lang like 12 years ago, and it was really nice. And you know, I was newer to the hobby than, you know, maybe only 5 years in, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can sell them off. Someone else will keep breeding them, and I'll get them back sometime. Well, Gary Lang stopped breeding them. The person I sold them to stopped breeding them, and I've never seen them as good. It's, you know, so now I know, just hold on for things, you know, for dear life. But you know, they're a small fish. They only get, you know, that 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches on that female. That's probably only 1.5 inches, honestly. And they don't have a ton of fry at once, but the nice black gonopodium and chest area against a green planet tank really looks cool. They're super duper docile, and they're not hard to breed. So the only problem with them is they don't catch your eye at a fish store. They're gonna hide, and it's kind of you got to be a connoisseur of livebearers, and you'll find some people that will buy some from you, but you mostly got to keep this fish because you like it and you like working with the genetics and seeing if you can make it better and not let it revert to the yellow belly. And yeah, I think it'll be fun going forward. This is kind of a good documentation of 3 months, and then in 3 years, if they look way better, wow. And that's what a lot of the livebearers and stuff have. What happens is you have this fish that, maybe there's something cool there, and then 3 or 4 years down the road, they're like, wow, where'd you buy that? Like, no, we had to make that. And then it becomes a strain that people keep for years and years to come. So, yeah, more projects. The rare livebearers, they're not to make money or anything. No one else wants them yet, but with some good work, you know, they'll be in demand. So.
Awesome.
So these guys are pretty rare because no one wants them, like all my fish, right? But these are Xiphosphoris pygmaeus, which just means there's a Pygmy Swordtails. So they don't even really get a swordtail on them. They're just Xiphosphoris, and they only get about this big. And there's a blue form and a yellow form. I've got the blue form here. You only see the blue when the light hits it just right, and so otherwise they look like they're just nondescript, uncolorful fish. But unfortunately, I'm in this corner where there's no light, but eventually I'll breed them. Well, I'm making quite a few actually, but I'll get them under the sunlight, and you'll really see that blue color. It really stands out. And they're just a really nice, peaceful fish. They're way more laid back than your average swordtail. And swordtails can be a little nippy, and you know, sometimes you want to put them in a 20-gallon tank. Well, these guys, for sure, they're just that big, and they'd be great. You can make more, and it's more of like not necessarily a care species, but you know, just something you're not going to see around. You know, you might only see it once a year on Aquabid or eBay or something like that, because there's not a whole lot of people keeping them, and that attracts me to it because I've got lots of colorful stuff already. But then this is just something fun to kind of play around. They do get a nice little bit of a blue eye to them, and they're a simple fish, and simple fish really accentuate aquascapes and things like that, which I don't do a whole lot of anymore, but to the people that need them for something like that, it really will make the planted tank stand out, and the fish don't take away from it. So yeah, I've got quite a few, and have them on an auto feeder and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know why I collect this kind of stuff, other than eventually someone else can be like, I need that, and then I'll sell it at the store or something. So I still just enjoy feeding fish and keeping them and looking at them and just making sure they're doing okay. And then I think that's what everyone does. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why, because I don't do it for money anymore. I used to have to do it, but now I just do it because it's like, well, I like that fish, and this is a fish I've had 3 times now, and there's a lot of fish like that where I kind of breed it for a while, I get tired of it, like no one wants it, I get rid of it, and then I miss it after a year or two. And so now that I've been keeping fish 15 plus years, you just find these favorites. And I think its temperament has a lot to do with it. Are they easy to keep? They are. I want to see if they color up any differently now that I'm on harder water. Is it a little bit easier to keep than it was in the past? But I think these guys will actually do well in pretty acidic water, because I never had problems with them at the previous fish room. But I am seeing some different colors, a little bit more robust bodies and things with the harder water, which I think is just making things a little touch easier and touch better. So now I can advise people on hard water, because basically 14 years of my career was discus breed in my tap water, and now it's the polar opposite. So now I'd have to do a bunch of work to get discus to breed, most likely. And so I'll be able to advise everyone, like, what's your water like? Hopefully you have 7.5 pH and just like middle of the road, and you can go any direction you want and have no problems. I have had now both extremes, so it's but it's good. It's good for my job, my position, to be able to advise people. So, and I always told people I'd much rather have hard water than soft water, because I'm a Livebearer guy, and everyone said, no, you wouldn't. And I mean, I'm only like a year into it at this point, but I still love the hard water way more than I love the soft water. Yeah. So there you guys go.